Call the Village of North Fond du Lac Board of Trustees meeting to order Monday, April 6th. Due to the state of emergency related to COVID-19, the village will have limited seating at the village board meetings. In addition to the board meeting being available on cable, channel 980, you are also able to dial in and listen and speak through the phone. If you would like to call in, please dial 920-322-6120 between 5:45 and 5:55 on the day of the meeting. Alrighty, roll call of officers.
Horning.
Here.
Price. Streeter.
Here.
Stutz.
Here.
Will.
Here. Stand for the pledge. I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. Announcements. I'd like to congratulate Mike Budrecki for 20 years. And Nick, you gave him his certificate already?
We did. We gave him the certificate. We decided at this time not to invite him to the meeting for obvious reasons, but we will reach out to him after this passes and see if he wants to come to a board meeting later. But his 20 years was April 3rd.
Awesome.
So if for residents that maybe are listening or watching, he's the guy that's usually in the garbage truck.
Okay. And congratulations to Mr. Budrecki. President's business and staff reports. Administrator Nick.
Thank you. Obviously, the election has been the lion's share of our work lately. As you all know, it changes sometimes by the hour. As of right now, the polls will be opening at 7 a.m. tomorrow. We've had an extremely high number of absentee ballots requested and returned, which is great. The less people at the polls, the safer we'll all be. As of right now, I think we have over 800 out there and 700 or more returned. So those, as you have probably seen in the news, you have till April 13th now to return that absentee ballot by 4 p.m. Our drop box is available in between our vestibule. You can mail it in. We need to have it in our hands here at the village office by 4 p.m. on April 13th. At that time, as of right now, we will reconvene as our board of canvass for voting, and we will put those ballots through the machine. The rest of them will be put in tomorrow, and we will not be counting anything tomorrow. We will not have results tomorrow. We will simply be turning the machine off and turning it back on April 13th. We officially closed our office to the public on the last Friday at 5 p.m. We were open only for absentee voting up until that point for the last couple weeks. At this point, our offices are completely closed to the public. We are allowing employees obviously to enter through the doors. We do have a lot of information posted on our website along with in our vestibule where the front doors are located. We encourage everyone to check out the website, Facebook. If you have any questions, call our offices at 920-929-3765. Also, if you do come into the front area and you have a question, we do now have a button you can press and talk to somebody as long as we're open, and between 8 and 4:30 Monday through Friday. Our new server arrived in the middle of this, so we're working on getting that transferred, the old server transferred onto the new server in between other things that will happen in the next couple weeks. Obviously, with COVID-19, the situation is changing daily, and we need to, change our operations. So that's obviously, besides the election right now, that's a lot of the work that we're working on, is just trying to adapt and make sure our operations are as safe as they can be. We do have a number of people working from home, number of employees working from home, and we're trying not to have all of our employees together, so for social distancing reasons. Obviously, our board meeting looks quite different than it normally does, so a lot of things I could go on and on about. For the most part, if tomorrow's election happens, that the workload will slow down a little bit for that part of it. We will still, like I said, be receiving absentee ballots for another week. With that, I don't have any more. Jake, are you available to give your weekly report? Doesn't sound like it. He must be tied up.
All right. Thank you, Nick.
I just want to, if I could, I just want to applaud the staff here of everything that they've done. Like I said, the last meeting I was on vacation. I appreciate all of the communication that I received in the last few weeks from the administration and the department heads and that. So I just want to let you know that it did not go unnoticed, and I appreciate everybody's effort, to hopefully keeping everybody safe.
Thank you.
Thanks,
I'll
Randy.
pass it along.
Thank you. Consent agenda, approve the minutes of the following board meeting from March 16th, 2020, and approve invoices and authorized checks to be drawn on the respective funds as indicated for checks dated 3/30/2020 and 4/6/2020. So for March 30th, general fund, $51,879.03. Library fund, $626.02. EMS fund, $2,396.71. Capital projects, $8,192.24. Water department, $83,594.69. Wastewater department, $57,588.93. Stormwater fund, $5,620.08 for a grand total of $209,897.70. And for the board meeting for tonight, general fund, $165,192.67. Library fund, $640.51. EMS fund, $1,990.44. Capital projects, $8,964. Water department, $13,610.47. Wastewater department, $2,364.48. Stormwater fund, $1,230.84. And Community Development Authority, $18.99 for a grand total of $194,012.40. What is the board's pleasure?
I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda as read.
Got a second?
I'll second that motion.
Got a motion by Will, second by Stes to approve the consent agenda as read. Are there any questions on either one of these bills packets?
I guess I'm just gonna follow up like
Yeah,
last
Mike.
time with that, bills for, April 6th, 2020, that RMM, page 4, 24,281. Again, is any of this gonna be covered by insurance, or
That largely is our server. That's
What about your server?
The new server, and then our normal maintenance. As far as insurance, there's really not been anything that's out of the ordinary for the RMM charges. It's mainly the reason it's so large is because of that server.
okay, thank you.
Any other questions?
And I did note, I'm sorry, I did note that the 30/30 year and the
Oh.
3/30,
yeah, no worries.
I already made that change, so.
No worries. Any other questions or comments on this item? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? None. Moving on to administrative discussion and update on COVID-19 and village operations.
I kind of gave quite a bit of a review of that in my weekly report, I guess, already tonight. Really, since the last time we met, we made a lot of changes with buildings and facilities and community center and parks. And I think since we last met, we've since put up a lot of signs at the village, at the parks, closing all the playground equipment and facilities. The library is closed till May 1st. That got extended maybe since the last time we met. As I mentioned earlier, our village building, our municipal building is closed. Really, that's the majority of what's going on right now. We're still obviously practicing social distancing with our employees. We have a number of employees, I shouldn't say a number, we have a few employees that are working from home when they can. The employees that have to be here, we're still obviously have to come in to do their normal work. Starting after tomorrow, because of the election, we're gonna start working with the front office area a little bit about rotating them a little bit and working from home. They're all three of the front office administrative staff are set up to work from home. The last time we met, I think I was looking at a VPN solution for remote work. Actually, RMM, a lot of companies have come up with better solutions. I wouldn't say better solutions, but maybe more affordable solutions during what's going on right now. RMM came up with a solution that was kind of already installed because they remote into our computers already. So they were able to allow us access to that program, and it's only costing us $25 a month per user, which is extremely cheap compared to the other solutions we were looking into, and it's also quite safe. So it works quite nice. I have it set up for myself, and it's really actually quite great. It's pretty awesome and I know, Ann, you probably use it at home, and I don't know if anybody else does that type of work, but it's like you're sitting at your computer. Sometimes it's a little delayed and a little clunky, I would say, but for the most part, it's like you're sitting at your computer at work. So it's in 90% of most of the work we do now is on computers, so it works out quite well. like I said, after the election for the front office, at least the election portion here was really a big push and a lot of people coming in and out. So after this week, we're looking at starting to mix it in a little bit in our front office area to work from home, so. That would,
So, Nick, what's VPN? That's just protects, that's a security thing, right? I mean, so you can work from home with the security of what we're doing with the village?
yeah, so the
information?
VPN is a different solution than what we're using. The VPN is, I don't even know, Chuck may know what it stands for.
Is that what it's?
Virtual private network.
Virtual Private
That-
Network.
That just helps someone not get into what you're doing, right?
Yes.
Secure pipe.
And what we're using is not necessarily a VPN solution, but it's another way that RMM had been accessing
Okay.
our computers that we're utilizing. It's already there. It was really quick setup. That was a nice thing about it too, is it's already on our computers.
Okay.
So, and there is, double password protected and all that, so I feel it's a safe option and it's not gonna go on forever. They kinda told us that. They said this is kind of a short-term solution for us. We're offering this right now for this $25 a month. This won't go on forever, but that's what we're offering to our customers right now. So it's been a nice, quick fix. So it's been working out great. I mean, I even, on Saturday, they changed the date of the election and when we can receive absentee ballots. I woke up Saturday morning and saw it on the news. I went, sat down on my kitchen table and typed up a new sheet for the front door, printed it, and I called Lori. Lori ran in here and put it on the front door. So, I mean, it's very nice to be able to do that. So it'll be actually nice in the future too, if we continue to have it for certain things, so. If there's any question, that's kinda all I have for an update on that, unless there's
The
questions.
VPN, you have to have a computer or device part of the network here, right?
No,
That's-
so I could take any laptop, and you have to install an application on that laptop in order to run it, and then there's, like I said, there's two passwords, two separate programs that it has to run to get through to our system, and then RMM also monitors it.
But I think Mike's point is that if you wanted to log in, you'd have to have a PC here on the network here. Is that what you're asking, Mike?
That, and I know the state's doing it, and we've been sending people home with their CPUs. The CPUs are so small, they just put it in their bag and take
Sure.
them home, So,
But now, does somebody
But-
have to have a desktop here in the office up and running to log into
Yes.
Lucas?
they do,
Yes.
but I think they wanna get it, like confidential stuff, they gotta get into one of these computers that are
Oh, I
on
see.
site. They
Yeah.
can't do it from home. So they gotta have they gotta have another network
Okay.
to link
To
up
log
with the
in.
one that works. So.
Okay. Okay.
We're running background checks and stuff. I know that our office staff, she can't do it because, she doesn't have.
Yeah, there's certainly things we
Yeah.
can't do remotely, but there's a lot of things that most.
You're right,
people can.
90% of the stuff they can do,
Yep.
at least for us.
Yep. And, there's still things we gotta process mail every day, we gotta print checks. I mean, there's a lot of things we have to do that we have to be here for, but there is several things we can do from home.
So Nick, you mentioned like with the playground and closing and stuff, how much were we gonna spend on that equipment this year? I forget, are we
20
gonna?
I wanna say it was 25, you talking about Lemieux Park?
Yep.
I think it was 25,000, I know we do have some quotes and things.
Are we locked into that? I mean, depending on like how long this goes on and, I mean, if this affects any type of budgeting, do we have to spend that money? I'm just assuming, I mean, you didn't see a lot of kids in the parks to begin with.
I can ask
And-
where we're at, I can
Yeah.
check into that.
Okay, just, I mean, if there's anything, I mean, are we thinking of that, like, for whatever reason, if it affects this year's budget, that are there some things that we're thinking about that that we're not locked into, that we don't have to do in case we need to free that money up?
Yeah, yeah, we've
know.
certainly, we started that, we also, as you know, have a pretty healthy reserve account,
Yeah.
that is funded to where it should be, so.
Okay. Just
Yeah,
kinda
I mean, we've
thinking
certainly
about-
started thinking about that. We're trying to plan ahead too. We're looking at areas of revenue that we think may be affected, which in our case, I think we're in a pretty good position. I don't think there's a lot of our revenue streams that are going to be affected from what we know right now. So, there's actually been some legislative proposals that would increase our shared revenue, which would be, good for us. So, as far as our revenue streams, besides park rentals, things like that, which aren't huge revenue streams for us, shared revenue, property taxes, those are the lion's share of our revenue streams, and those don't look to be like they'll be affected at this point. But shared revenue is obviously based off of sales tax in the state, so, we're looking at that and thinking that way, but at this point, it's too early to tell.
And I know like we average, what, about 800 shut-off notices a quarter? I mean,
Yeah.
are we thinking about,
We've been talking internally. I think we're still gonna continue with a process, but it's not gonna be a shut-off process. It's gonna be more, we do a lot of robocalls with that. We're probably gonna continue the robocall process, not telling people we're gonna shut them off, but just reminding them that maybe they're late on their payment, and if, we understand that there's situations out there, but
are we thinking of extending that, like, at this time? I mean,
the shut-offs?
yeah,
We
like
can't do
extending-
shut-offs.
I mean, just like extending it, like if there's any interest that they pay on that or anything like that, like.
Yeah, so we're waiving the late fees. And actually, for the water portion of it, we're forced to by the state law right now.
Okay.
We're waiving late fees. We're not doing shut-offs. If you saw it too, we waived all credit card fees right now in the light of this because we're forcing people to pay online right now. So we waived all credit card fees for anything that we charge credit card fees for. We will continue to work with residents for payment plans, for water payments and that, and right now, there's no end in sight for that, so I guess we don't have an end date on that right now.
Okay. Chuck, did you have something?
I was just gonna say, I think it's a great idea, but we have to be a little careful. If we delay things, costs to cost a lot more if we do it next year. So I mean, something to consider, but I agree with what you're saying.
So,
just kinda-
specifically for that playground, what I'll do is I'll reach out to Darren and I'll bring it back to the board, depending on where we're at.
Okay.
That works.
I mean, all the parks are closing. I don't know if you guys saw the signs that are out there with everything, asking folks to stay. I'm assuming the bathrooms are closed?
Yes, all
Okay.
all park facilities and playground equipment. Parks are not closed, you're available, you can walk through the parks, if you want to do that, as long as you keep your distance.
Mike, were you up first?
I was up, yeah, I don't know if you have the answer for me, but with the PD and the emergency medical services, what PPP, like face masks or shield, interactions with the community, are they wearing that protection no matter what?
The ambulance service, I know, is wearing full suits for every call now.
Okay,
I do not know specifically what the police department is doing. I know that obviously they're not entering homes right now
Yep.
unless they absolutely have to. They're asking people to come out, if they're responding to a house call, they ask people to step outside. As far as I know that the EMS has I don't know what it's called, but it's some sort of spray. I think it's a viricide or something of that sort that they're using to clean their vehicles with now. It's kind of a fogging type thing. And they're also doing the police department vehicles whenever they transport somebody that they suspect could possibly be exposing that vehicle. So they're definitely working together on that. I don't know specifically what the police department's doing for that.
I just hope they get into that close radius of each other, that they have like a
Yeah,
face mask or.
I'm sure they are. I just don't know I know the ambulance, our EMS people
Okay.
are wearing full suits now on every call, but I don't know for the police department.
Right, thank
off the top
you.
of my head.
Is that it, Mike? Ann?
Yes, do you have an idea of like how we should think about from a cost perspective, like what additional cost this is costing us?
Yeah, it's such a large question, right? I mean, you've got staff, we've got people that couldn't come into work so we're tracking it, I can tell you that at this point. So from very early on, we're fortunate here because we have what we call global search, which is basically how all of our invoices are entered. And when this first even started to be a blurb out there, we installed a line in there basically saying COVID-related expense, yes or no. So when department heads are coding invoices, they're putting it on there. We've also made adjustments to the timesheets. We're tracking all that time that's possibly related to COVID-19. Even cleaning this building, because our public works are having to clean it now. We're tracking that time. As far as an expense, I mean, I can roughly off the top of my head, come up with $2,000 or $3,000 of stuff that we had to purchase because of this. I mean, even the election is more expensive now because we have to buy a lot more things. We bought 3 laptop computers that we didn't have before, but we bought some relatively cheap ones, those $350 laptops. That wouldn't normally be a expense that we would normally spend $1,000 or $1,500 on a laptop. In this case, all they need to do is be able to go online. So right now, I would say, it's not been a whole lot of money as far as how much it's going to cost us. It all depends on what this entails. Right now, for the way we're operating, the big expenses, I would say, are gonna be in the police and fire for buying PPE. And I don't know how much that stuff is at this point. I will tell you, though, that we are definitely tracking it.
Okay. Thank you.
hopes that at some point we can get reimbursed for some of it.
Right. Thank you.
Randy?
Have you heard of any aid or revenue coming out of the state, to help these municipalities or towns, with some of these expenses? Have you
Well,
heard
like I said
anything?
earlier, there was some legislation proposed, with a number of different things that was proposed at the same time. One of those was increasing shared revenue by 1%. I know that didn't fly and go through. There's been discussion, we keep getting emails, there's FEMA, you know,
Right.
after the fact, we've been being told, make sure and track your expenses. We had already been doing it, but for obvious reasons, I mean, that's just what you do when you get into situations like this. No, to answer your question, there hasn't been a lot of discussion about that. There's been a lot of discussion, there hasn't been any
Any
evidence that anything's
action
gonna
or
come of
anything?
it at this point.
Gotcha. Thank you.
All right. Anybody else have any questions regarding the update on COVID-19? All right. Moving on. Number 2, discussion and possible action approving the bid for the Beshad Avenue and Polk Street project.
All right. Hopefully you all have your Kindles, and I don't have mine, so I get to look at the spreadsheet in paper form. That spreadsheet with our bid, we had a lot of bids. Was it 8, 9, 10, 11? I don't remember total. Normally on jobs like this, we don't see more than 3 or 4 bids, so it's always a good sign when we get a number of bids, and it's always a great sign when we see the lowest bidder is about $100,000 short of the rest. So as you see, and I can't read my sheet, but the total bid was $947,000. Our engineer's estimate was $1,046,000. And as you see, as you go across, they go all the way up to $1.24 million. So David Tenner was the low bidder on this. We worked with David Tenner Corporation several times in the last 10 years. We're satisfied with their work, and what I really probably want to talk about a little bit more are the next few pages. The first one being page 26 about the McKinley Street improvements comparison. So you'll notice there's a budget number, there's an engineer's estimate, and then there's a bid amount. You'll notice the first line, general, which the general one is your street, basically. So that's the portion of the general funds portion of the project. That was about $17,000 under our budget. It was also just slightly higher, or $20,000 below the engineer's estimate, $17,000 below, $20,000 below the engineer's estimate, $17,000 below our budget, so we're in good shape there. The next line obviously probably throws some red flags. The storm sewer, so what happened with the storm sewer is we had $155,000 budgeted for Beshad Avenue storm sewer. In getting into this project, and it happened right in the middle, probably, 2 to 3 weeks ago, we started looking at it a little bit closer, and if you recall, Polk Street near Friendship Learning Center, that intersection there, you've probably have seen or at least been involved with hearing about that intersection flooding when we get really bad rain. So what we did is, right at kind of at the last hour here, so to speak, we asked our engineer to look at that and kind of come up with a idea if that storm sewer is possibly undersized. What we've been seeing, the trends in the last 10 years, there's a lot of theories why, but there's been our 100-year storms. What used to be a 100-year storm is happening like every 5 to 10 years now. So our 100-year storms are becoming more rain around here than they normally. You probably all kind of recognize that that's been happening here recently. So with the modeling that they did, they basically, that large storm sewer that starts by Friendship Learning Center goes all the way under Polk Street and goes into Mosher Creek, right past Beshad Avenue. So it's under Polk Street where the people that are getting assessed live that were here the last time. That storm sewer right now is a 48-inch round culvert, and it's in poor shape. What we didn't realize at the time is that it likely was quite undersized. So after they did their modeling of it, they actually recommended a very large elliptical sewer, and I don't remember the size. It's on here. I don't know if it's 72 inches across. It's an elliptical. The problem with the existing 48-inch pipe or 42-inch pipe is barely under the ground. So we can't just make it bigger because it'll be sticking out of the ground. So we had to go to this elliptical concrete pipe, which is a pretty expensive pipe. In doing so, it added a fair amount of cost to this project from what we had budgeted. So you can see it almost doubled it. It really wasn't part of this project in the beginning. We added this late in the game, realizing that we better do it now because we don't want to rip a new road up in 10 years when we replace the whole thing to a larger size. So it adds about $150,000 to what we had estimated in there. The storm sewer preliminary audit, you guys haven't seen that yet because I just had to ask for it. They're planning on coming in May to give us our audit. We have like $470,000 sitting in that fund available. So with that, knowing that this project's about $300,000, I'm very comfortable with adding that to that project and not being too concerned about the fund. Either way, it has to be done, and looking to next year, we may have to consider, normally if what we would do in something like this is borrow, use the storm sewer utility to make a borrow and pay it off in 10 years. In this case, we probably have enough funds in there to feel comfortable paying for it in cash, and I would suggest we do that. However, over the next couple weeks, I will be talking to our financial advisors and seeing what the best route to take on that. But my recommendation is obviously to approve this bid and improve and make that improvement to Polk Street Storm Sewer. This would only be taking care of the portion of that storm sewer that we need done for this project.
Did they fix that part over by the pole? I mean, didn't we,
So,
like on that corner? by the
many
house?
years ago, that culvert, we had such a big rain that culvert got pushed, it was standing up in the intersection, because the water just came pushed it right up. So we had to dig it out and put in concrete, but the concrete we put in at the time, concrete pipe is undersized. We were just matching what was there, it was kind of an emergency situation. But yes, that was replace a portion of it.
Gotcha.
Yep.
Mike?
This new pipe, you talked about the 72 inches, that concrete?
It's concrete,
Concrete.
elliptical concrete, yep. If I could read this, I could probably tell you exactly what size it is.
I've seen some of this large, like 6 foot round, that blue stuff. I don't
It's
know.
43 by 68. Yep.
That's all you had, Mike?
Yep.
Anybody, Ann?
So is there more that we'd have to do? You said that, what is that?
Yeah, well, that's not something we're looking at doing maybe within the next 5 years. That's going to be, I would guess off the top of my head, that's probably about 4 times as much. So in this case, that portion of this is about $90,000. So I would say we're looking at another 300 probably. That's a very rough guess.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Anybody else have any questions?
If there's no more question on that, then moving down, the sanitary came in on $32,000 under the budget number, also under the engineer's estimate, and as you see, the water was a little bit higher than the budget number, and that's probably due to, when we budget these things, we started budgeting this project 15 years ago, and you make adjustments to it, and you try and keep up with it, but when you start adding valves, hydrants, and things, it just, those things change significantly sometimes in price. But as you see, it's still fair amount lower than the engineer's estimate, so it's a very good price. So our recommendation is obviously to approve the project, or the bid.
If there are any more questions, what is the board's pleasure?
I'll make the motion to approve the low bid from, is it Tenor?
David Tenner
David
Corporation.
Tenor Corporation.
I'll second that motion.
All right. Got a motion by Horning and second by Price to approve the bid from Tenor Corporation for $947,913. Oh, yes.
I'm just taking a rough estimate here. The engineer's estimate is what we provided those.
Yes, so,
And my question is, it looks to me like there should be about a 10%.
so the next page, I was gonna,
didn't see it.
yeah,
I
yep.
didn't know what the numbers were, but a rough guess would be about 10% of what, less than what it was projected they were gonna pay.
It looks to be, you're right, it's right around 10%, but remember, this is only half or so of the project cost at this point. So hopefully next year they see another 10% reduction, you know what I mean? So I was gonna talk about that too, touch on that, but yes, we provided that to show you that last, on the next sheet, that last column is the reduced by, that's how much lower than the estimate that we gave them 2 weeks ago that their assessment would be.
Okay, that's all I have.
All righty. Okay, like, so we have a motion by Horning, second by Price to approve this bid. Any other questions or comments? Seeing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? None. Number 3, discussion and possible action on change of agent for Class A combination fermented malt beverages and intoxicating liquor license for business for the R Store number 4513 at 565 North Pioneer, agent name Gene Trackle.
Yep, that's just a change of agent. Their agent that was with them no longer works for them, so this was just a simple change of agent. We did the background check. We recommend approval.
Cool. What is the board's pleasure?
Guess I make a motion to approve the change of agent for our store to Gene Trackle.
All right, can I get a second?
I'll second that.
You get a motion by Price, seconded by Stats to approve the Class A combination business agent change. Any other questions or comments on this item? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? None. Resolutions, discussion and possible action on Resolution 9-2020, a resolution ratifying the proclamation of the village president and declaring a state of emergency in the village of North Fond du Lac on March 22nd, 2020 in response to the COVID-19. Nick, did you want to just summarize this, or do you want me to read this into the record? Or?
We can just summarize it.
Okay.
This is very similar to what the first page really is the proclamation and the state of emergency declaration that the village president exercised those emergency powers to approve of on March 22nd. This is ratifying that, which is a proper thing to do the next time we meet, to ratify what the village president had acted on. The only change really to this is trying to find it off the top of my head here. It's be it further resolved way down towards the bottom that effective at 5 p.m. April 3rd, 2020, the village hall will be closed to the public until further notice, because prior to that we had to stay open in the original proclamation for absentee voting. So really this is just ratifying what the village president did on March 22nd and making it, the board taking action on it.
All right, thank you. Anybody have any questions or comments on this item? What is the board's pleasure?
I'll make a motion to approve resolution 9-2020.
All right, can I get a second?
I'll second it.
Okay, got a motion by Horning, second by Will to approve resolution 9-2020, declaring the state of emergency for the village of North Fond du Lac. Any other questions or comments on this item? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Any communications? Any unfinished business? Any new business? I just want to say, echo what Randy had said about, Nick, thanks for taking, the charge and right away and getting everybody in the loop with coming up with, doing the research and coming up with the proclamation and everything. So appreciate that.
Mhm.
And taking it on like that, and appreciate the leadership through this time. Any other new business? All right, moving down to adjournment. Can I get a motion to adjourn?
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Get a second?
I'll second.
Got a motion by Stott, second by Price to adjourn. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? None. Thanks, everybody, for coming.